This Friday, July 21st edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Circus Sports. Circus Sports is back with their Circus Survivor and Circle Millions contest. $14 million are up for grabs. Get all the details over at circusports.com. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Thursday, July the 20th, currently 5:02 on the East Coast, here to break down our MLB betting picks for the Friday games. And helping me to break it all down, you guys know him as the voice of the NBA Gambling Podcast, of course, on the MLB Gambling Podcast. Here it's Delonte Smith. Delonte, how you feeling, my man?
Yeah, man, not bad. Hopefully my picks can get better from earlier in the week. Not been a good week for your boy. So we're looking to turn it around tonight or tomorrow night.
Yeah, we got the weekend to turn it around. Not too much to sweat about. Still a lot of baseball left to play here. So, yeah, hopefully we can find some more winners for our listeners. And also joining us, you guys know him as the voice here, of course, here on the MLB pod, the NFL Gambling Podcast, is Dylan Rockford. Dylan, how you feeling, my man? Where are you right now? You still in Minnesota?
Yeah, I'm in Minnesota till Sunday, so just enjoying it. But yeah, over here, I got the time right on the stream today, so we handled that. I got it wrong yesterday, but yeah, looking to turn my picks around as well. Got there on the under, but yeah, Trevor, Padres kind of fucked us in the first five, so trying to turn it around and have a good show today for you guys.
Yeah, new series starting obviously on Thursdays and Fridays, so hopefully we can clean the slate from the earlier in the week. And find some winners in some of these news here. Some intriguing matchups for the weekend starting on Friday. So let's just dive right into it, guys. First game on the board is going to be NL Central battle between the Don't Look Now, but the St. Louis Cardinals. They are winners of 5 games in a row as of Thursday afternoon. They are in the Windy City to take on the Chicago Cubbies. I am seeing Jack Flaherty is going to get the start here for the Cardinals, and I believe it is Justin Steele, left-handed pitcher for the Cubbies, starting for the Cubs. No total or run line yet. Obviously, we're waiting for that wind direction. But we do have money lines. It's almost close to a pick 'em, but we have the Cardinals at an even money price, and the Cubs are minus 120 on the money line. Lante, take us away, my man.
Yeah, man. You led me right into it. The Cards on a hot streak, all by 2+ runs also. But they do struggle on the road. 21-27 by my numbers. It's not. Did they play on the road today? No.
Yeah, they're in Chicago to start the first game of the series. So
okay,
yeah, it's I believe Stroman's on the mound on Thursday night for them.
Okay, yeah. So 21-27 on the road for the Cubs. I mean for the Cards. The Cubs are poor at home though, so kind of balances it out. St. Louis covered 9 of the last 11. Flaherty has been really good in July. In 3 starts, he's had 2 shutouts, 6+ innings pitched in those 3. Also, he is allowing a ton of contact though. That's something that I was monitoring. 9+ hits in 3 of his last 5. But he's pitched well on the road. 1 earned run or less in 4 of his last 5 road starts. But again, I think I'm going to pivot and go to the Cubs. I usually only bet them when Stroman or Steele are on the mound. Steele looking to bounce back from being roughed up in his last home start. 10 hits, 6 earned. He also has had 2 earned runs or less in 5 of his last 7, 3 shutouts. So pitching pretty well, just roughed up in his last home start. It happens. He's also had 1 earned run in St. Louis on 6/24. So a little bit of familiarity there with the division foes. I think Steele can shut the offense down. So I'll lean to Chicago. I'll lean to.
Rock.
Yeah, I like the Cubs here as well. Minus 118 on the money line. I actually made him a minus 145 favorite. I think we're going to see a nice bounce back start here from Steele. You know, tough loss last week against the Red Sox. It definitely was probably one of his worst games of the year. His hard hit rate was extremely high. Just got himself into a lot of trouble, but he has had success against the Cardinals team just a few starts ago. He only allowed 1 run in 6 innings. He got a lot of ground balls. He struck out 8 batters. So in both his starts against the Cardinals, Steele has been able to deal and keep his hard hit rate extremely low. So 80% of the money is on the Cardinals. So whenever money's on one way, I kind of like to fade the public. So I'm with Lante. I like the Cubs here at the short number.
Yeah, I think I'm here with the Cubs as well. I know we all mentioned that they're on the hot streak right now coming out of the All-Star break. I think they've only lost one game. I think it was that first game against the Nationals coming out of the All-Star break. But I think you definitely have the better, I think more consistent pitcher in Justin Steele on the mound. And he's been really good at home at Wrigley Field as well, right? 6-2 with a 2.98 ERA for Justin Steele. I do see the winds are going to be blowing in this game. So if this total comes out, my guess would be 7.5, 8 maybe. Dylan, what's your total come out to in this game?
Yeah, so we actually have totals on FanDuel. It's at 8.5. I set the winds are blowing in. I set my total at 7.4. So I agree.
Yeah.
I think we should see an under here.
Yeah, I did like the under. I think we'd see a pitcher duel between these two pitchers for sure in this game. So yeah, lean Cubs for me, but I do like the under in this game. If you do have access to FanDuel, I would probably jump on that under 8.5 right now. All right, next game on the board, gentlemen, we have the Baltimore Orioles AL East battle here. Baltimore Orioles. This is going to be a big series. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays in Tropicana Field in Tampa. It's going to be a 6:40 Eastern start. I am currently seeing Kyle Bradish is getting the start here for the Baltimore Orioles, and Zach Eflin is going to get the start here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays are a minus 170 home favorite, plus 145 on the money line for the Baltimore Orioles. Total did open up at 7.5. Now it's up to 8 with vig towards the over. Run line minus 1.5, plus 130 for the Tampa Bay Rays, and plus 1.5, minus 150 for the Baltimore Orioles. Start here with Kyle Bradish. Hasn't been too bad thus far this season for the Baltimore Orioles. 6-4 with a 3.05 ERA. Been really stellar in the last 5 games for the Baltimore Orioles, where he has a 4-1 record with a 1.44 ERA. He's only allowed 5 earned runs in 31 and 1/3 inning pitch over the last 5 games. Did have a start against the Rays earlier this season, where he went 5 innings, only allowed 2 earned runs. Did have 2 walks in that game. And on the road this season, 3-1 with a 3.83 ERA for Kyle Bradish. The Orioles have won 4 out of his last 5 starts, like I mentioned. On the other side, Zach Eflin, we have talked about it throughout the season here. He's a pitcher that you want to back at home and kind of fade on the road, just because if you just take a look at his home and road splits, at home in Tropicana Field, 9-1 with a 2.34 ERA. He's only allowed 16 earned runs in 61 and 2/3 innings pitch. Did get into a little bit of trouble against the Baltimore Orioles in a start earlier this season, where he did allow 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched there. He is coming off one of his worst, I guess we can say one of his worst starts in his last start, which was against the Kansas City Royals on the road. He only went 3 innings in that game, did allow 5 earned runs to the Kansas City Royals and 7 hits. I think there's some value here on the Baltimore Orioles, man. I know that, again, this is a big series for both teams because I think they are tied at top of the AL East division. But I think the Baltimore Orioles are the hotter team right now. It feels like the Rays have kind of plateaued a little bit. I think Kyle Bradish can go along well here. Like I mentioned, he's been pitching really well over his last 5 games. And Zach Eflin has allowed at least 2 earned runs in 5 straight starts. And again, like I mentioned, he's coming off that worst loss this season against the Royals. So I'm gonna go with the Orioles here, plus 145 on the money line. If you want to get on that run line, plus 1.5, minus 150, I don't hate that either. But I'm gonna go on the money line here, D-Rock, with the Orioles.
I agree. I think I'm seeing plus 154s out there as well for the Orioles. I think that's tremendous value. Like you mentioned, total opened up at 7.5. I took that over. Even at an 8 now, I still like the over. I made my total 8.5. The number just seems a little low. You know, we got 210 top 10 offenses. I know the Rays have been struggling on the road, but coming back home, I do think their bats are going to wake up a little. The over in Tampa this season, 31, 18, and 1. And on the other side, the Orioles have had no problem scoring runs of late. They've gone over this total in 5 straight games. And on the road, the over is 26 and 14 for them. Kyle Bradish does tend to give up a little more runs and hard contact on the road. And his last 7 starts on the road, 6 of them have gone over the total. I think the Orioles are alive, but I do think we'll have a higher scoring game. So I'm going to be on the over here.
Lonte, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you, D-Rock. I took the 7.5 also. Exact same handicap. I thought Baltimore on the road has no problem scoring at all. You mentioned the numbers. Tampa Bay, they haven't been playing well offensively as of late, but I think they can get it going here. So I lean to Tampa here. I think it's just a good spot for them. They lost 5 of their last 6, and I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just something about Tampa here that I like a lot. Baltimore won 3 of 4 in the May-June series, and they've been playing well lately, like Munaf mentioned. 5 straight overs. D-Rock, you called it out. 4 or 5 for Tampa have went under. But like you said, offense is going to show up at home. I think both teams score high variance game. I'll probably play Tampa on the run line just for more. I think it's a higher variance game. And you mentioned Eflin looking to rebound from that last start against KC. Before that, he had 2 earned runs in 4 of his previous 5 starts. Good offenses as well. Atlanta, Philly, Arizona, San Diego. He had 2 earned runs each on all of those teams. So if he can return to somewhere in the middle between those starts and what he did against Kansas City, I think he'll be fine. So I'll lean to Tampa Bay on the run line.
All right. Before you continue the conversation here, let me tell everyone about the best NFL betting contest happening, and that's only exclusively at Circa Sports. Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back. 14 million in guaranteed prizes are up for grabs. Circa Millions, 5 NFL picks against a spread each week. Each one you get correct, you get a point, and you climb the leaderboard. Any pushes, you get half a point. And then they also have Circa Survivor. Like I mentioned, just pick a different money line winner each week. Only caveat is once you pick that team, you cannot use them again for the rest of the season. You enter only exclusively at Circa Sports in Vegas, but you can play from anywhere. Sports Gambling Podcast, Sean and Ryan are going to be out there the last weekend in August. Get all the details over at circasports.com. Again, that's circasports.com. All right, boys, let's get over to the next game of the Friday schedule. We have this game is the only one that's off the board. We'll quickly kind of go through it. So the Colorado Rockies, they are headed to Miami to take on the Marlins, 6:40 Eastern start. Braxton Garrett is going to give the start here for the Miami Marlins, but we don't have a pitcher yet for the Colorado Rockies. Lante, you have anything to add for this game, or do you see Colorado having a chance to win this game with Braxton Garrett on the mound?
Yeah, not really. I'm not really a fan of Garrett at all. He's been a bit up and down. He had a good June, 3 earned runs and 3 starts, but in July he's been pretty erratic. Colorado 14-33 on the road. They did win 3 of 4 in a series back in May, but again, 2 totally different teams. I'd like the spot from Miami, similar to what Tampa was. They've lost 5 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. They usually play well at home, 30-18, and they've won 8 of their last 12 home games. So I think they bounce back at home. I guess it just depends upon the price and who Colorado throws, but I think I'll be on Miami in some form or fashion. I mean, Colorado's lost 12 of their last 13 road games, so I don't see it being competitive here. I think Miami can come out and blow the doors off.
You rock anything to add?
Yeah, just a little thing to add on. I agree. Depending on the number, you got to think Marlon's going to open up the favorite at home. But I want no business. I think it might be. Don't quote me, but I think it might be Chase Anderson. And if it is Chase Anderson on the road, he's unbackable. So they're not a good road team to begin with. And yeah, they're 2-8 in their last 10. The Marlins are kind of struggling right now, but I think this is a good spot to get them back into the win column. So depending on the price, I could see myself on the Marlins as well here.
All right, let's get over to the next game of the evening. It's going to be another 6:40 Eastern start. We got the San Diego Padres. They are in Detroit to take on the Tigers. Seth Lugo is going to get the start here for the Padres, and Reese Olson is going to get the start here for the Detroit Tigers. Padres are a -140 road favorite here, +120 on the money line for the Tigers. Total is set at 9 with a little bit of vig towards the under at -115. Run line -1.5, +120 for the Padres, and +1.5, -140 for the Tigers here. D-Rock, take us away.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an under in this one. Under 9, -115. I made my total 8.2. You know, you got 2 under teams, especially the Tigers recently. They've gone under this total in 7 of their last 8 games. And I just think we could see another low-scoring game. Seth Lugo's hard hit rate has been extremely low this season. Outside that last start against the Phillies, he's been really good, getting a lot of ground balls. And on the other side, Reese Olson, he hasn't been terrible at home this season. His hard hit rate has been low, and his last 3 starts at home have gone under this number as well. So I think we're going to see a good effort from both pitchers in this game. I'm seeing a -132 as well on the money line for the Padres. I think that's extremely low. I made the Padres a -170 favorite. So if you want to hit that, I don't not like that as well. So I like the Padres here, and I also like the under a little better though.
Lante.
Yeah, I didn't have much on this game, man. I actually leaned to the over here. 7 of the last 10 for San Diego have went over. Detroit has been an over team at home, 26, 18-1 to the over. I just can't trust San Diego. I know they look well against Toronto, but again, I think they're about the same team. You can't trust either one of them. Lugo a bit up and down. Detroit offensively, though, he's nothing too much to be worried about. So I can see where D-Rock's going with the under. But I kind of lean over. I think that, San Diego can probably bolster a decent amount of those runs, and Detroit maybe can tack on a bit late. But outside of that, I got no feel for this game. So I'll just lean to the over.
Yeah, I think if I'd like an over, I'd probably look at the Padres team total to go over. But
That's
I
actually
think,
a better idea.
I think what Dylan mentioned about, I just don't trust this Tigers offense to put up runs to contribute to the over in this spot. You just take a look at July, what Reese Olson was able to do for this Tigers team. He pitched a total of 12 and a 1/3 inning. He only allowed 3 earned runs in that span. One game was an official start, which was the last one against the Seattle Mariners. He did come in against the Oakland A's. I think it was just a spot start for someone that came in probably 1 inning, but he got majority of the innings, or 5 innings against the A's. He only allowed 1 hit to the A's. But if you take a look at those 3 games where Reese Olson made an appearance, combined 3 runs. 2 of them were shutouts for this Tigers team. So I just think, again, number one, you do have the better offense here. I think that ship is kind of still for the Padres to show up at this point for the season. I'm not sure if they're going to make the playoffs or not. They're going to have a huge push, and maybe it could start here against the Tigers. But I'll lean with the Padres here for sure. Take a look at the Padres team total to go over here as well. All right, guys, next game on the board is going to be a 7:05 Eastern start. We got the Kansas City Royals. They are headed to the Bronx to take on the New York Yankees. Alec Marsh is going to get the start here for the Kansas City Royals, and Clark Schmidt is on the mound for the New York Yankees. Looking at the lines for this game, the Yankees are a -210 favorite, +180 on the money line for the Kansas City Royals. Total is set at 9. Run line -1.5, -105 for the New York Yankees, and +1.5, -115 for the Kansas City Royals. Alec Marsh has not been, I don't think he's been too bad for the Kansas City Royals. His last start, he did have 11 strikeouts in that game, which was against, I believe, I have it here. Give me a second. Against the Tampa Bay Rays. Unfortunately, it's kind of the same story for Alec Marsh when he is starting, like the pitcher we just discussed in Reese Olson, that he's just not getting the run support from the Kansas City Royals. His last start, like I mentioned, 11 strikeouts, but the offense only put up 1 run. The Rays went on to win that game 6-1. Had a pretty good outing against the Minnesota Twins as well. 5 innings, only allowed 2 earned runs, but again, no run support. They lost that game 5-0. And then against the LA Dodgers, he got shelled in that game. But again, who's not getting shelled against the Dodgers lately? So, on the other side, Clark Schmidt, I know early in the season, this guy was fade material, but he's kind of panned out very nicely for the New York Yankees. Over his last 5 games, he is 3-0 with a 3.22 ERA. He's only allowed 8 earned runs in 22 1/3 innings pitched. The win-loss record isn't there at home for Clark Schmidt, where he's just 2-5 at Yankee Stadium with a 3.93 ERA. But the Yankees have won 3 of his last 4 starts. This one was a little difficult for me to handicap because, I mean, can you really trust this Yankees team right now? The one thing that also kind of stuck out about Alec Marsh is that he gives up the home run ball. In his 3 games that he has started for the Kansas City Royals, he's allowed a total of 5 home runs, and he's allowed a total of 14 hits. Again, 5 of those have been home runs. So now you're going back to the Bronx, where it's a hitter-friendly ballpark. I know the Yankees are reeling right now. I think the way that I would attack it, I don't want to back the side of a Yankees team here, but I think the offense can put up a couple runs here against Alec Marsh. So maybe look at the first 5-inning team total for the Yankees, or Yankees team total to go over. There's just, again, something not right about this Yankees team. Maybe something going on with the locker room. I know they've been missing Aaron Judge and all that sorts, but if you got a gun to my head, I would go Yankees run line, but I do love the team totals to go over in this game for the New York Yankees here, Lonte.
Yeah, man. I mean, same issues with the Yankees. I think we've been talking about it for probably like a month and a half. Probably since Judge went out. 0 offense, inconsistent pitching outside of Garrett Cole. I mean, as long as if Cole's on the mound, the offense shows up, but he's not. They don't have a prayer. But again, against Kansas City, they have to win this game by margin to get some confidence. I got no faith in them at all. But against Kansas City, they have to be able to put something together offensively. So I agree with you on the team total. They do play well at home, a few games over 500. Kansas City 14-34 on the road. And you mentioned Smith. He's been fine. I mean, 2 earned runs or less in 5 of his last 7 starts. So he's going to have I mean, it's not going to be a hitter-friendly lineup, so he'll have some confidence to get. So I'll lean to the Yankees on the run line. But again, I think my favorite play will be, like you said, Munaf, the team total over for the Yankees with Alec Marsh in a hitter-friendly park, like you mentioned. I think the Yankees can get it going offensively, at least for one night. Or at least I hope.
D-Rock, any case to be made for the Yankees?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a team ride on the run line. I mean, I never thought about the team total just because, I really don't expect the Yankees to score that much, but it's a game I really don't want to touch just because both teams have been really bad. Yankees 2-8 in their last 10. They've lost 4 straight. Their pitching hasn't been good. Offense hasn't been good. And Royals, they really haven't been any better, just 3-7 in their last 10 games. Marsh hasn't been that bad, like you said, Munaf, but I just don't think this is a good spot for him. I need a much bigger price. The Royals have lost all 3 of Marsh's starts by 5 runs or more. I know the Yankees are struggling, but coming back home, I think will help them a little bit. I can't lay $2, especially over $2 at some books with them. So yeah, either Yankees team total, I'll roll the dice and cross my fingers and take the Yankees run line. But yeah, no real feel for this one.
All right. Before we continue handicapping these games, let me tell everyone about Underdog Fantasy. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Best Ball Mania 4 is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is also a great way to get down on your favorite MLB and NFL season player props. So many ways to win over on Underdog, and Underdog is available in so many states. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and make sure to use that promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $100. Again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com using promo code SGPN. All right, guys, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. We have a 7:05 Eastern start. We got the San Francisco Giants. They are headed to the nation's capital to take on the Nationals. Alex Wood is going to get the start here for the Giants, and Jake Irvin gets the start here for the Washington Nationals. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Giants are a minus 150 road favorite here, plus 130 on the money line for the Nationals. 9.5 is a total for this game. Run line minus 1.5, plus 110 for the Giants, and plus 1.5, minus 130 for the Washington Nationals. Dylan, take us away.
Yeah, another tough game to handicap. I feel like the lines seem about right to me. I made the Giants a minus 170 favorite, made my total around 9.7. So I guess getting a minus 150 is, like how Mal said, I guess one of those 1.5 plays on the Giants. They should win this game. Nationals are struggling right now. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games at home. This season, they're just 14-32 straight up at home. While the Giants, they've been rolling. They're just one game and a half out of first place. And they've been profitable on the road this season, 28-20 straight up. I'm not a huge Jake Irvin fan. He's a little too inconsistent for my liking, but Alex Wood has been much better on the road than at home this season. The Giants have won 4 of Wood's last 5 starts on the road against much better teams than the Nationals. So against the Nationals, a bottom half team in the league, I think this
You'll lose D-Rock.
Yeah, I think we lost them.
All right, Lonzo, why don't you give your handicap?
Yeah, man. Similar. I think D-Rock broke it down perfectly. I like San Francisco though. I mean, I know he was leaning in that direction, but I like him pretty heavy here. Washington lost 4 of the last 5 by average margin of 6.75 runs. He mentioned San Francisco being incredible on the road. They are. They also won 3 of their last 5. Washington did take 2 of 3 in a May series, but again, we are far away from May. And Irvin has been inconsistent. 1 home run allowed in his last 4 starts. So I think San Francisco, the way they've been hitting the ball, they could get a hold of him pretty early. Wood, I've been in love with Wood. No, that's gay.
False.
Okay, false. Yeah, I've been in love with the pitcher, Alex Wood. When he's pitching on the road, he's been nails. 1 earned run or less in 4 of his last 5. But he doesn't do a lot of striking out. He makes the batters put the ball in play. I might look at his K prop under. He's had 3 or less in 4 of his last 5. But again, he's got a good defense behind him. I think he pitches well to contact. So I like San Francisco a lot here, man. I think they should be around what D-Rock said, 175, 180. So give me San Francisco. I'll take him on the run line. I think we'll get a better bang for it. But if you don't like to lay in the juice, I would much rather play the team total for San Francisco.
This is a judgment-free zone, Lonte. We don't mention we don't discriminate. We if you love Wood, hey, More power to you, my man. Dylan,
My bad. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I think you got cut off. I think that you were leaning towards the Giants.
Yeah, Giants minus 150. I think it's one of those unit and a half plays. I'm not in a basement though. I'm in an attic, so a little different. But yeah, I just can't back the Nationals. Jake Irvin a little too inconsistent for me. So yeah, I like Wood. I like Wood and the Giants here at home or on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alante mentioned it the best, and Dylan, you mentioned it as well, is that Jake Irvin is too inconsistent for me to back. I mean, there's some spots where he looks like a competent MLB pitcher, but then there's some spots where he just gets absolutely blowing up. And the last start against the Cardinals was one of those spots as well. And he's prone to giving up the runs. He'll give them up. But Alex Wood has been more consistent on the road, shockingly, this year. Like Alante mentioned, where he does have a 3-1 record with a 2.96 ERA. So I like the Giants here as well. Probably roll the dice on their run line here as well at plus 110. You do get all 9 at bats with the road team here in the San Francisco Giants. And again, they're right in the thick of it, not only for a playoff spot, but also that division in the NL West. So that's going to be a fun fun race to watch as we get ever so closer to the end of the season. All right, guys, next game on the board, it's going to be a 7:10 Eastern start. We got the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are headed to Cincinnati to take on the Reds. Tommy Henry gets to start here for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Ben Lively gets to start here for the Cincinnati Reds. Looking at the lines for this game, currently seeing that the Reds are a minus 130 home favorite, plus 110 on the money line for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Total is set at 10.5 with Vic towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 145 for the Reds, and plus 1.5 minus 170 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. D-Rock, take us away.
Yeah, give me the dog here. I only made the Reds a minus 110 favorite. The Snakes, they're a great team on the road, 28-18 straight up. While surprisingly, the Reds, they're just 24-26 at home this season. Tommy Henry has been really good good this month for the Snakes. His hard hit rate hasn't gone above 35% in that time, and the Snakes have won 4 of his last 5 starts on the road. The whole D-backs team have been swinging the bats well. Scoring hasn't been the problem for them. It's actually been their bullpen who's been costing them games. While the Reds, they've come out of the All-Star break kind of sluggish. Besides that one game they put up 10 runs, they haven't looked good. I'm not the biggest Ben Lively fan either, so at a plus 112, I got to take the better team, the better bats in my opinion. So that's got to be the Snakes. So give me the D-backs on the money line plus 112.
Monte, what do you got?
Yeah, I lean that way also, and I think D-Rock led me into one of my favorite bets in this game, and that's going to be the Snakes in the first 5. I don't trust that bullpen at all. I do think there will be runs in this game, so I lean over also. But I think the Snakes in the first 5 will be the best bet. You don't want to go in with the bullpen. I'm not the biggest fan of Lively either. Cincinnati offensively has pretty much been hit or miss, which is a direct result of 4 of the last 5 going under. But I think they can get it going at home offensively. Maybe put up, I think we would only need 4 or 5. What is it, 10.5 you said, Munaf?
Yeah, 10.5 is what I said.
Yeah, so 4 or 5 runs here. I think both teams can get to 5 pretty easy here, especially Cincinnati with the Arizona bullpen. So I like the over, and I lean the Arizona small dog. They struggled out of the gate, but they put it together in back-to-back good performances against Atlanta. I know they lost today, but I was really impressed with the 2 of the 3 games that they played against Atlanta. So I think they can carry that over into Cincinnati and get a win here. So I lean to Arizona and the over.
Yeah, Cincinnati has struggled against left-handed pitching at least over the last 2 weeks. WRC Plus, they ranked number 28. It's only been 64 plate appearances that this data is coming off of. But team batting average in that span, they're number 25. Slugging percentage against left-handed pitching, number 26. OPS, they are number 25 as well. So well below league average against left-handed pitching. And like D-Rock mentioned, Tommy Henry has been going along pretty well thus far for this Arizona Diamondbacks team with a 5-2 record. He does have a 4-1 record on the road with a 4.91 ERA, but I think a lot of those came in one start, which was, I believe, against the Washington Nationals, shockingly, back on June. So, yeah, I like your first 5 call there for the Diamondbacks here in this game. I'll probably look at their team total. If that number's at 4.5, I'm definitely going to look at the over for the Arizona Diamondbacks on that number. So, I love the D-backs first 5 as well. And then I'll look at the team total to go over the number as well. Next game on the board, gentlemen, we got the New York Mets. They are headed to Beantown to take on the Boston Red Sox. 7:10 Eastern start. Kodai Senga on the mound for the New York Mets, and James Paxton gets a start here for the Boston Red Sox. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm seeing the Red Sox are a slight home favorite of minus 120, even money on the money line for the New York Mets. Total set at 9.5. Run line minus 1.5 plus 140 for the Red Sox, and plus 1.5 minus 165 for the New York Mets. Monte, take us away.
Yeah, man. I think we all spoke on it pre-All-Star break. I thought Boston was going to be one of the bet-on teams. They ended the All-Star break hot. They came out hot. I'm going to lay it here with Boston. Despite Oakland beating them in back-to-back games, I think they'll be fine here at home. The Mets have been playing well also, but they do struggle on the road. A few games, 6 games under 500 on the road. And they don't perform well as an underdog at all. Just 9-22 this season as an underdog. So that's kind of something that I'm looking to fade also. Despite winning 6 of the last 10, the Mets have scored 2 or less in 3 of those 5 games. I think Boston here is a home run. New York Mets also 20-30 on the run line in road games. So I think not overthink it here. I'm not the biggest fan of Paxton. I guess I'm just holding a grudge on him for, some of the things that he did to the Yankees, but he has been doing pretty well. 4 of his last 5 starts have been on the road, though. He has 2 earned runs or less in 4 straight home starts. So when he does pitch at home, he pitches well. I think he'll have it going here. Give me the team total over for Boston. I'll lay the short number with Boston at home.
D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, I can't back the Mets here in this spot. I do like the Red Sox minus 120. I made them a minus 135 favorite. I just don't trust the Mets on the road, to be honest. 22-28 straight up on the road this season. The Red Sox, they've come out All-Star break hot. They're a solid team at home. And Paxton is just a much better pitcher at home than he is on the road. He's only allowed 5 runs and 22 innings at home this season. And all of his starts at home, his hard hit rate have gone under the 30. So he's limiting contact. Mets sluggish. They've had 2 nice wins. They went right back to being the Mets today. I think they're going to do a good job limiting them again tomorrow. Give me the Red Sox at home.
Yeah, Kodai Senga has been really good at home at Citi Field, but on the road, it's where he's gotten in a little bit of trouble. I know he's been better as of late. We had a great start against the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona back on July 5th before the All-Star break. But against, we saw it against the Phillies. He allowed 4 runs overall. 2 of them weren't earned. And walks are also a concern for the Phillies for Kodai Senga when he's on the mound for the New York Mets. You guys mentioned it, right? The Red Sox are one of the hotter teams coming out of the break. Unfortunately for them, they did drop 2 games to one of the worst teams in the MLB, but give credit to the A's, man. They're still battling out there. But I trust Paxton more at home, and the numbers speak for themselves. He's had 4 starts at Fenway Park. He's 1-0 with a 2.05 ERA, 22 innings pitched. He's only allowed 5 earned runs in that span. So home runs allowed are a problem for Paxton as well, but I think he can go along well here. I'll take the hotter team with you guys. Red Sox minus 120 on the money line for this game. All right, next game on the board, guys. We got the Philadelphia Phillies. They are headed to Cleveland to take on the Guardians. 7:10 Eastern start here. Ranger Suarez gets to start here for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Gavin Williams gets to start for the Cleveland Guardians. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Phillies are a minus 125 road favorite, plus 105 on the money line for the Cleveland Guardians. Total set at 8.5. Run line minus 1.5 plus 135 for the Phillies, and plus 1.5 minus 155 for the Cleveland Guardians. Start here with Ranger Suarez. Suarez has been pretty decent this season, despite only having a 2-4 record. He does have a 3.84 ERA. Last 5 games, 1-2 with a 3.86. He's been exceptional on the road for the Phillies. So that 2-2 record. Does have a 2.39 ERA on the road, though. 6 starts on the road this season, 37 2/3 innings pitched in that span. He's only allowed 10 earned runs. He has gotten in trouble over his last 3 games where he's allowed at least 3 earned runs in three straight games. And the walks have been the biggest concern in those spots where he's allowed 3 walks, 4 walks, and 3 walks over his last 3 starts. And if he's able to get the walks under control, I think that's going to be over to his advantage. And also, the Cleveland Guardians, they struggle against left-handed pitching as well. Over the last 2 weeks, WRC plus for the Cleveland Guardians. Over the last 2 weeks, they've been better, but season long is where the numbers are well below league average against left-handed pitching. You take a look at Gavin Williams as well. He can give up the runs as well. I'm going to trust the Phillies here to get the job done with Ranger Suarez on the mound. Gavin Williams over the last 5 games, 1-2 with a 3.94 ERA. He struggles in Cleveland, 1-1 with a 5.60 ERA. And again, he's allowed at least 3 earned runs in, let's see here, 3 out of the last 5 games. And walks are also a concern for Gavin Williams. So I'll take the Phillies here on the money line. I think it's a cheap price here of -125 here, D-Rock. What do you got?
Yeah, I was actually able to grab the opening line of an 8. I took that over. Still 8.5. It's more of a lean. I made my total 8.7. You know, both teams, they've been involved in a lot of high-scoring games. Surprisingly, the Guardians, they've been hot. They've gone over this total in 4 straight games, scoring a bunch of runs off the Pirates. And Phillies, they're averaging about 5 runs per game as well. I don't trust Gavin Williams, like you said. He could give up a lot of hard contact and runs. Walks are an issue as well. So I'm all over the over. I do think it's a short price for the Phillies as well on the road, but I like the over a little more.
Lonte?
Yeah, I'm with you, D-Rock. I grabbed that 8 earlier. Also, Philly over in 6 of the last 9. Cleveland over in 6 of the last 10. Philly 5+ earned runs in 3 of 5. Cleveland 5+ in 4 of 5. I think Cleveland's been a sneaky good over team. Compared to early in the year. They got their offense going as of late. I've been pretty much on them in a decent amount of games. And you guys mentioned Gavin Williams. Yeah, it's short sample size, but 4 earned runs in 2 of his last 3 home starts. Suarez allowing a decent amount of contact. Also a home run allowed in 4 of his last 5 starts. So that could be a problem against that Phillies lineup. I love the over. As far as the side, I couldn't really bring myself to bet either side. I can make cases for both teams. But if I had to, I'd lean with you, Munaf, on the Phillies. But I love the over.
All right, 8:05 Eastern Star. We got the LA Dodgers. They are headed to Arlington to take on the Texas Rangers. Tony Gonsolin gets a start here for the LA Dodgers, and Andrew Heaney is on the mound for the Texas Rangers. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Dodgers are a -120 road favorite here, even money on the money line for the Texas Rangers. Total set at 9.5 with a little bit of vig towards the under at -115. Run line -1.5 +135 for the Dodgers and +1.5 -155 for the Texas Rangers here. Lonte, take us away.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna make it another over here. I like the over. The Dodgers are over team on the road. 30 of their 47 road games have been over. Texas at home, we all know they can match the ball. 28-20 to the over at home. The Dodgers have scored 5+ in 4 of the last 5 games. Texas 5+ in 3 of the last 5. Not really a big fan of Gonsolin. He's had 4 earned runs or more in 4 of his last 5 starts. So, I mean, he will give it up early if Texas bats are rolling. Heaney has been pretty much up and down his last 4 starts. He's had 6 earned, no earned, 7 earned, no earned. So that's the model of inconsistency right there. But he is better at home. I'll lean to Texas here at home as an underdog, but I love the over. I think we'll see runs here. I think we'll see both teams get to 6-7 runs here. But I'll lean to Texas at home as a small dog.
Yeah, Dodgers against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. WRC plus top 5, number 5 actually. Team batting average against left-handed pitching. They do take a dip down to number 15. Slugging percentage, they're at number 8. OPS against left-handed pitching last 2 weeks, number 7. So definitely ranking in top 10 in a lot of the categories against left-handed pitching. I agree with you. I love the over in this game at 9.5. Definitely shop around. You may be able to find a 9 out there with a little bit of big on the over, but I think this might be a series all weekend long, guys, that we might be seeing runs being put up in these games. We talked about Tony Gonsolin here. He's a guy that I want to back when he's at home, because we talked about earlier this season when he is at home, he has an incredible run line record for the Dodgers. But on the road, it's just where he does get into trouble. Andrew Heaney so far this season at home in Arlington, he has, let me see here, 11 starts at home. He's 6-3-2 to the over in those games, and the average of about 12 runs per game in those starts by Andrew Heaney. So yeah, love the over. I'm there with you. Maybe a first 5 over as well in this game between these 2 ball clubs here. D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, you can find an over at over 9 at -120. A little juicy, but I do like the over. I made my total 9.9. But I actually like the Rangers here at home. I got them at even money. I made them a -115 favorite. I just don't understand all the hate towards Andrew Haney recently. Looking under the hood, he's actually been backable, in my opinion. He hasn't allowed a single run at home in his last 2 starts. His hard hit rate hasn't been high at all. All of his games where he got lit up have come on the road. And at home, I just think he's backable. So Rangers are rolling right now, coming out of the All-Star break, winning 5 in a row. They just swept the Rays. I think this is a good spot for them. I do think we could see a lot of runs in this one. But at the even money price, give me the Rangers here.
All right, let's get over to the next game on the board. Let's go to Milwaukee. The Braves are traveling to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers. It's going to be an 8:10 Eastern start. Michael Soroka gets to start here for the Atlanta Braves, and Freddie Peralta gets to start here for the Milwaukee Brewers. Looking at the lines for this game, the Braves are a -125 road favorite here, +105 on the money line for the Brewers. Total is set at 9 with a little bit of vig towards the over at -115. Run line -1.5 +140 for the Braves and +1.5 -165 for the Brewers. Start here with Mike Soroka. He's made his return after, we talked about it, dealing with multiple injuries for the Atlanta Braves. And he still looked like he's trying to find his form. I'll put that in a nice way. His last start was against the Chicago White Sox, where he went 3 innings, allowed 2 earned runs in that game. He hasn't been bad in his back-to-back starts. The Braves have won 4 of his last 5 starts. But again, that's been on the back of the offense by the Atlanta Braves. They scored 8, 16, and 8 in 3 of his last 4 starts. Unfortunately, his last start against the White Sox, they were only able to muster 1 run against the White Sox in that game. But his last 3 games, like I mentioned, he's 1-0 with a 3.29 ERA. Has gotten in trouble on the road, where he's allowed, let's see here, he gave up 4 to the Oakland A's. He gave up 5 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then again, like I mentioned, that one good start he did have was against the Cleveland Guardians on the road. Freddie Peralta, surprisingly, has pretty good history against the Atlanta Braves. At home thus far this season for Freddie Peralta for the Brewers, he is 4-3 with a 3.88 ERA. The Brewers have won back-to-back starts when Peralta is on the mound. Probably coming off his best outing of the season, which was against the Reds. 6 shutout innings. He only allowed 1 hit to the Cincinnati Reds. Now, the walks are a concern for Freddie Peralta, where he's allowed at least 3 walks in 3 of his last 5 starts. He's allowed at least 2 walks in 5 straight starts for the Brewers when he is on the mound. Kind of go back to last season against the Braves, or his last 2 starts. Again, like I mentioned, he feels like he's had success. And last season, 7 shutout innings against his Braves team. He only allowed 2 hits in that game, 10 strikeouts, and then back in 2021, 6 shutout innings, 2 hits, had 8 strikeouts in that game. No earned runs in those 2 starts. This one got a little tricky for me. I feel like the books are trying to bait you on taking that cheap price on the Braves here at -125. I'm actually going to lead with the Brewers here, man. I feel like the Brewers bats can get to Mike Soroka here. Atlanta it feels like to me they're kind of getting bored because they're having so much success this season. They were putting up a lot of runs. I just feel like this might be a game, at least in game 1, where they can get the Brewers can steal one from the Braves. So I'm gonna go with Peralta here, +105 on the money line here, Lante.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you completely. Atlanta broke that 4-game losing streak today, but Milwaukee's been playing probably some of the better baseball since the All-Star break, along with Boston and a few other teams. They've won 4 of the last 5 all road games against solid competition, Phillies and Cincinnati. They have had 5 straight unders, but I'm not sure they'll be able to hold the Atlanta offense down too much. So I do lean to the over. But I love the Brewers here. Despite that losing stretch, Atlanta's offense has still been solid. So that's why I like the over. Peralta, you mentioned, man, he's been okay, not allowing a ton of contact, no more than 4 hits in his last 6 starts. But when he does give up contact, it's usually a home run. He's allowed 1 in 9 of his last 11 and 2+ in 3 of those games. So when he's giving it up, they're letting it fly. Also on the other end, Soroka, he's given up home runs also, allowed 1 in 4 of his last 5 games. 2 of those were multi-home run games, so that bodes well for an over. I like Milwaukee here at the plus money as a dog. They're playing really good baseball. I think they can get it done, and I like the over here.
You rock.
Yeah, I'm going to take the bait. I think this is a short price with the Braves. I'll take the -116. I made him a -130 favorite. I don't think Soroka has been all that bad, to be honest. He's had one bad start against the D-backs, but outside of that, his hard hit rate hasn't been that high. He does get a lot of ground balls. Surprisingly, it's just been the offense hasn't been there for him. But, like Lante said, the Braves were finally able to get a win today. I think that might give them some confidence going into Milwaukee. I'm not a big Freddie Peralta guy either. Trevor mentioned he's not the best at home. He's been beaten up on the bottom tier teams. This is going to be the best team he's faced. So I think he's going to have his hands full tomorrow. So contrarian play, I guess. I'm going to take the short number here with the Braves.
All right, next game on the board is going to be another 8:10 Eastern start. We got the Chicago White Sox. They are headed to Minnesota to take on the Twins. Lance Lynn gets started here for the Chicago White Sox, and Joe Ryan is on the mound for the Minnesota Twins. Looking at the lines for this game, we have the Twins a -165 home favorite, +140 on the money line for the Chicago White Sox. Total set at 8.5 with Vig towards the under at -120. Run line -1.5, +125 for the Minnesota Twins, and +1.5, -145 for the Chicago White Sox. Dylan, take us away, man.
Yeah, who would I be not to take the Twins here while I'm in Minnesota, right? I got to back them. I can't back them on the money line, but I am going to take them on the run line. Again, a nice +145 price. This is just going to be a complete fade of Lance Lynn. He's allowed 3 or more runs in 5 straight starts on the road, while the home and road splits for Joe Ryan are night and day. He's been iffy on the road, but at home, he's just a much better pitcher. His hard hit rate is in the high 20s, which is fantastic. And the last time he was faced the White Sox, he was great. He just didn't get the run support. -155 on the money line isn't an awful price, but the Twins are playing some really good baseball right now. 3 of their 4 wins have come by 3 or more runs, so they're swinging the bat well. I think they're going to put it on Lance Lynn tomorrow. So give me the White Sox -1.5 at +145.
Monte.
Yeah, man, the Twins are another one of those teams that are rolling right now. They've won 4 of the last 5. Offense looked good, as D-Rock mentioned. 5+ earned runs in all 5 games, double digits twice. I'm going back to the well with them. I'm going to be on their team total also. The 26-22 at home. The White Sox struggle, 19-32 on the road. The White Sox offensively on the road don't get it going. Like, their numbers are night and day from their home road splits there. They've had 1 earned run or fewer in 3 of the last 5. They've allowed 5+ in 4 of the last 5, so that goes well with the team total over. If you ask me, Lance Lynn, D-Rock broke it down perfectly. He's been getting rocked. I'll expand on it a little bit. 4+ earned runs in 7 of his last 9 starts. He's allowed a home run in 11 of his last 15 starts. Multi-home run games in 5 of those. So he's been getting rocked. I think that Minnesota's going to keep it rolling here. Ryan, 2 earned runs or less in 6 of his last 8 home starts. I think he'll shut down that putrid White Sox offense. I'll take Minnesota everywhere you can get them. Team total over. I'll look at the first 5 and full game for Minnesota.
Yeah, I like Minnesota here as well. I mean, you guys mentioned Lance Lynn just has not been very good. I think that's putting it in a nice way for the White Sox pitching rotation thus far this season. Joe Ryan at home this season. The Twins are 6-3 straight up in those games. They're 5-3 on the run line, -1.5. On the +1.5, they're 1-0 as well. The over is shockingly 6-2-1 in those games when Joe Ryan does start at home. 8-1 first 5 over when Joe Ryan is on the mound for the Twins. So maybe look at a Twins team total to go over. Twins are averaging 5.67 runs when they are when Joe Ryan is on the mound at home. And like you guys mentioned, Lance Lynn has been giving it up. So if this number is at anywhere at 4.5 for the team total, I'm going to pound that over for the Twins. And like I think Lante mentioned that they are one of the hotter teams coming out of the All-Star break as well. And again, this is an opportunity against a division opponent to, kind of knock them out of the playoffs and just kind of compete with the Guardians for that top spot. So they got to get all the wins that they can if they want to win this division and get a playoff spot. All right, guys, next game on the board, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are headed to the Anaheim to take on the Angels. 9:38 Eastern start. Johan Oviedo gets a start here for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Shohei Ohtani is getting the start here for the LA Angels. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Angels are a -190 home favorite here, +160 on the money line for the Pirates. Total set at Vic towards the over at -120. Run line -1.5, +115 for the Angels, and +1.5, -135 here for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Lante, takes away.
Yeah, man, I like the Halos here. I was quick to fade them, especially when Trout went out, and I lost a decent amount of money on them. But they've been in good form. They've won 4 of the last 5. If I'm not mistaken, they swept the Yankees, and they look just in better form. The 27-22 at home. Pirates in a free fall right now, man. Losers of 8 of their last 10, 1 earned run or less offensively in 3 of their last 5. They also struggled on the road, 19-28. Oviedo a bit up and down. He does have a tendency to give up the long ball. He had a home run allowed in his last 5 starts, 4+ earned runs in 2 of his last 3 road starts. So I'm going to keep it simple here, man. Ohtani on the mound. I don't have to bore you with his numbers. They are what they are. So I think we have a better picture. We have a team in better form at home where they play extremely well. I'm going to go with the Halos, man. I would look at the run line also if you don't want to lay that juice. I'd look at the run line for the Halos and probably look at them in the first 5.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I like Ohtani at home here on the run line. This offense has started to get it going, or they have been getting they are going right now, are the Angels offense. This goes back to the series against the Astros, where they were able to put up an incredible amount of runs. They had a game where they came from behind and won that, I think it was on Saturday night, 13-12. And then they had an opportunity again on Sunday Night Baseball, but Kyle Tucker made this incredible catch for the Astros to steal that victory for them. But they had opportunities. This season on the road, Johan Oviedo, when he is start for the Pirates are 6-13. They're 1-3 on the -1.5 run line, and they're on the +1.5. They're just 5-10. So I think that the offense will continue to get runs off of Oviedo here. I think Ohtani has a dominant performance, so I won't be surprised if he goes at least 7 or 8 innings in this game. Probably look at his strikeouts in this game as well for Ohtani. This might want to be those performances where, like I mentioned, 7-8 innings for Ohtani, gets 10+ strikeouts in this game. I want to say the Pirates over the last 2 weeks were up there in team strikeout percentage. Yeah, they are number 6 over the last 2 weeks against right-handed pitching. So Angels in all ways for me here. D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, the Angels finally able to get above 500 last night. Like Alante said, they swept the Yankees at home. I like backing the Angels at home this season, not so much on the road, but at home, 27-22 straight up. Pirates just 1-4 in their last 5. On the road, they're just 19-28. They got their ace Ohtani on the mound. He's been much better at home. Hopefully his finger's a little better. I know he's been dealing with some discomfort on his throwing hand, but against the Pirates, the team just 2-8 in their last 10. I think this sets up nice for him. I do see him going about 7-8 innings, having a solid start. So I agree. +125, +120 on the run line. I don't want to lay -190 with them, but yeah, Angels run line for me.
All right. Like Mal likes to say, the penultimate game of the Friday night schedule. We have an AL West battle. The Houston Astros, they are in Oakland to take on the A's. It's going to be a 9:40 Eastern start. Framber Valdez gets a start here for the Houston Astros, and JP Sears is on the mound for the Oakland A's. Looking at the lines for this game, the Astros are a prohibitive -260 road favorite here, +220 on the money line for the Oakland A's. Total set at 7.5 with Vic towards the over at -115. Run line -1.5, -140 for the Astros, and +1.5, +120 for the Oakland A's here. Dylan closes out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a total here. I was able to grab a 7 earlier in the day. I took that over. Even 7.5, I like that over as well. Made my total 7.8. The total is just too low, in my opinion. I think we have to take it on principle. Both teams have actually been scoring a decent amount of runs this past week. Astros, they're averaging 7 runs by themselves this past 5 games, while the A's, they've been averaging around 4 runs per game in their past 5 games. So Framber Valdez does give up some more runs and hard contact on the road. The last time he faced the A's in Oakland, the game went way over the total. So I think both pitchers here, especially the A's bullpen, once it gets to the bullpen, can give up some runs. We got winds blowing out in center field, and we all know how much the ball loves to travel at night in Oakland. So going to be all over the over here.
Yeah, Valdez had a start earlier this season against he's had 2 starts this season against the A's. I'm trying to quickly pull up those numbers here. He's actually done really well. That's what
I got him for you if you want.
I got it. So he's 2-0 with a .60 ERA. The first start was back on, and both starts were in May, actually back-to-back starts. May 21st, 9 innings, complete game shutout, 7 strikeouts. He only allowed 4 hits. Second game, the next start, 6 innings, 4 hits, allowed 1 earned run. He did give up 3 walks, but I believe the Astros won both those games on the run line. Let me see. We got 2-0 in that May 21st start, and then the 27th, the Astros won 6-3. So I think Valdez can continue to go along well here against the A's. In his career, he's done pretty well against his team as well. Definitely have the better offense in the Astros. Just waiting for them to get Jordan and Jose back. Seems like they're not in a rush to get those 2 guys back because they're still riding contention with the Rangers for that AL West division. JP Sears hasn't been too bad, I guess we can say, compared to the rest of the starters for this Oakland A's team. He does have a 1-6 record, but he does have a 3.99 ERA, 100 strikeouts on the season. I think that's surprising to me. Did have a start earlier this season against the Astros, 6 innings. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits, 7 strikeouts in that game. At home, he's 0-2 with a 3.97 ERA. Unfortunately for the Oakland A's and JP Sears, that they've lost 4 of his last 5 starts, have the Oakland A's. So I'm going to just keep riding Framber Valdez's form here against the A's. Given the Astros run line, I'll probably look at their team total to go over in this game. You get all 9 at-bats again with the Astros here, Lante.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the Astros also on that run line. The 29-20 on the run line on the road. They actually outscored Oakland 26-8 in the 5-game series that you were speaking of back in May. They won all 5, of course. Sears, if it was anybody else on the mound other than Valdez, I'd probably be on Oakland. I mean, Sears has been okay, definitely better than his record indicates. But I think Houston will be able to get to him here. You mentioned Valdez, is his numbers, like you said, 15 innings pitched, 8 hits, 1 earned run combined in those 2 starts. He hasn't been his best in his last 2, 9 earned runs, but in those road starts, but he should get back on track here with Oakland. So give me Houston on the run line.
All right, last game on the board. We have the Toronto Blue Jays. They are headed to Seattle to take on the Mariners. I'm saying Yusei Kikuchi is going to get the start here for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Bryce Miller gets started here for the Seattle Mariners. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing the Mariners a -130 home favorite here, +110 on the money line for the Toronto Blue Jays. Total set at 8, run line -1.5, +145 for the Mariners, and +1.5, -170 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Start here with Kikuchi, 7-3 on the season with a 4.13 ERA, 100 strikeouts and 30 walks on the season. On the road, he's 3-1 with a 4.53 ERA. The Blue Jays have won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's also been getting the run support in his starts over at least over his last 4 games. He got 12 run support against the A's, got 6 against the Red Sox, but he got blasted in that game against the Red Sox. And then he got 5 against the White Sox and then 7 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Kikuchi kind of seems like he's been up and down. I'm not sure if I can fully trust him. But I think that he does have pretty good numbers against the Mariners, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to pull that up here real quick. He did have 1 start last season, 6 innings pitched, only allowed 1 hit, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts against the Mariners last season. Bryce Miller, 6-3 with a 3.66 ERA. Has been absolutely fantastic in T-Mobile Park in Seattle for the Mariners, 5-1 with a 2.84 ERA. And over his last 5 games, the Mariners are 3-0. Bryce Miller is 3-0 with a 2.45 ERA. I'm going to go with the Mariners here. I like Bryce Miller at home. Like I mentioned, he does have a 5-1 record. The Mariners have won 3 of his last 5 starts. The one loss that out of the last 5 was on the road against the Baltimore Orioles. But outside of that, he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in 4 of his last 5 games. If he can keep the walks under control, I think that he'll be able to do that against the Toronto Blue Jays team. At a -130 price with the Mariners, I'll take Bryce Miller against the Toronto Blue Jays here, Lante.
Yeah, so I mean, both of these teams I have trouble with. If I bet on them, they lose. If I bet against them, they win. So I'm probably going to stay away. I'd lean to Toronto if I had to. So congrats on winning, Munaf. I didn't like how they played in the San Diego series. They only had 1 earned run in the 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. Seattle did look bad versus Minnesota also. They got outscored 16-6 in the first 2 games. And you mentioned Kikuchi being up and down. He's also allowed in the long ball 3 of the last 4. Also hasn't went deep into the game, under 5 innings pitched in 2 of his last 3. He's also allowed 2 earned runs or less in 3 of his last 4 starts on the road. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to lean that way. And Miller had a good 5-game stretch with 7 earned runs in those starts. 4 of those at home where, he had a shutout and 4 earned runs total. I just don't have anything strong. I'd lean to Toronto if I had to play it, but thankfully I don't.
D-Rock.
It's right at my number, -130. So above that, really, I would kind of stay away. But I do think they should be the favorite. I like Bryce Miller here at home, even though, huge loss to the Rays. That loss a few starts ago. He only gave up 2 runs, though. It was the bullpen that really cost him the game. Mariners 5-2 and Miller's 7 starts at home this season. I think this is a good spot for them. Mariners winning today 4-0, so kind of get some confidence going in. And Kikuchi's kind of struggled in the month of July, so a little inconsistent for me. But I do like the Mariners. I think this is a good spot for them.
All right, so that is the schedule for the Friday night games. One order of business left here. That is going to be our lock and dog for the Friday schedule. D-Rock, why don't you lead us off?
All right, I'm going to start with my dog just because I had that circled. Let me go with the Minnesota Twins, +145 against the White Sox. Just complete fade of Lance Lynn. Like I said, he's allowed 3 or more runs in 5 straight starts, while Joe Ryan's just been lights out at home. So low hard hit rate for him. I think at +145, I think we're getting a really good price. So Twins been hot so far, so I'm going to take them. And for my lock, let's fade the Mets. Yeah, give me the Red Sox here. Give me the Red Sox here.
Everybody go bet the Mets.
Yeah. Like you said, Kodai Senga's been a little better on the road, but still the Mets just too inconsistent for my liking. Paxton has been good, much better pitcher at home. Red Sox are just a much better team offensively, defensively. So I think that we're getting a short number as well. So -124, the Sox going to be my lock.
All right, Lante, what do you got?
Yeah, that was going to be my lock also, but I'll pivot. So I'll go with San Francisco on the road, -1.5. Should be like right around reduced, -105, -106. We mentioned how good the pitching is being for San Francisco on the road, with Wood on the mound, 1 earned run or less in 4 of his last 5. If you also want to pivot, I would take a look at his K prop under. He gets contact, a lot of ground balls. So San Francisco really good on the road. It's 27-19, winners of 3 of their last 5. Washington is abysmal at home. They are. Irvin allows a bunch of contact, a lot of home runs. So I like San Francisco to win by margin here. Washington has also lost 4 of their 5 by almost 7 runs per. So that just goes to show you they don't have any foul power. So I like San Francisco on the run line. For my dog, I'm gonna go with what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go with Milwaukee here, man. You said it was a trap, Munaf. We're not falling for it. I think D-Rock fell for it. So we're gonna go with Milwaukee at home, where they've been performing really well. It's not really profitable this year betting against the Braves, but at current form, I think Milwaukee is better. Peralta, like I mentioned, hasn't allowed a ton of contact. He also hasn't faced a lineup like Atlanta, but I'll lean on him being a little bit more consistent. 4 hits, just 4 hits total in his last 6 starts. So if he can limit the long ball and get the ball on the ground, I think the Milwaukee Brewers have a good chance of winning this game outright. So give me Milwaukee as a dog.
All right. For my lock, I'm going to go with the over in the Dodgers and the Rangers game. I think this is going to be a game where or series this weekend where we see a lot of runs being put up. 2 of the better offenses in their respective leagues. We know about the Dodgers. They can put up 5 runs, in a blink of an eye. Rangers have been one of the better offenses in the league. Talked about Tony Gonsolin. Trust him more at Dodger Stadium, but not on the road. And where he is pitching in Arlington here. Andrew Heaney, I know he's been kind of up and down, but like I mentioned the numbers for the Dodgers against left-handed pitching at least over the last 2 weeks. I think that they'll be able to put up a couple runs, or they should be able to put up runs as well against Andrew Heaney. So I'll go with the over 9.5. For my dog, I know it's a public play ban, but anytime I get plus odds, especially against a reeling Pirates team, I'll take Ohtani and the Angels -1.5, +115 on the run line. The offense is hot right now. Ohtani might just be able to do this by himself if he has to, and we've seen him do that multiple times throughout his career with the Angels when he's pitching and he's provided the offense as well. But we've seen it over the last week here coming out of the All-Star break. The Angels' bats have been hot. Saw it against the Astros, saw it against the Yankees. I think they'll be able to continue that against Johan Oviedo. I'll take the -1.5, +115 on the run line for the Angels against the Pittsburgh Pirates. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast. D-Rock, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
No, nothing really. Just like, subscribe, rate, and continue to follow along with us. I know we've been going live a little earlier, I feel like, on my time, but yeah, other than that, just keep firing away and have patience. I know I've had a slow week, but we're trying to turn it around.
Yeah, it's a long season, man. We've mentioned it all throughout the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, especially for the MLB season, about how long it is. So you gotta sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, but a lot of times you gotta pick and choose your spots, to make the money. Lance, anything else, my man?
Nah, man, I'm in a bit of a funk myself, so I'm trying to snap out of it. You actually surpassed me in the season long tally site, so I'm really upset about that when I logged on this morning and seen it. So I got to get back on track, man. Got to get back on track.
Yeah, man, I'm sure we'll be able to do that starting here on Friday night in the MLB. So hopefully we provided some winners here. We'll be back tomorrow in some form or fashion for the Turbo episode. So look out for us then. Maybe kick some tires on some other things that we're seeing, at least maybe an All-Star break, some of the hotter teams we can discuss, and maybe talk about some updated playoff odds for those hotter teams like the Cardinals, the Twins we've talked about as well. So maybe we'll look at that market tomorrow. But join us at the usual time. If you haven't already, hit that smash that like button for us on the stream here.
Hit and smash.
Yeah, and smash. Yeah, whether you like wood or whatever the business is, man, we don't judge here. If you haven't already, I haven't seen many reviews, man. We need some reviews to come in. If it's a 1-star or 5-star, hopefully it's a 5-star. We'll shout you guys out on the pod when those reviews do come in. So if you haven't already, leave us a rating and review. If you have already, maybe grab your wife's phone or your kids' phones or your mom, dad, uncle, aunt. Leave us a review. We truly appreciate you guys doing that for us. All right. Good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.